Hey, what is up everyone? Danny and Alex. Today, we're going to talk about some Jiu-Jitsu techniques, but more specifically, some side control transitions you should have in your Jiu-Jitsu arsenal. So check it out. All right, so once I've cleared the legs, AKA past this guard, it also means that I need to secure that position, all right? So that's gonna start with the positioning of my legs as well as how I position my arms around my opponent, all right? So I wanna create some tight wedges where he's not gonna be able to move so much, so that way there I can maintain, stabilize my position, and that will bring me to either attacks such as submission holds, arm locks, chokes, and whatnot. But more importantly, today we're gonna talk about transitioning your positions to get a different position, but always maintaining the person pinned underneath you. Okay, so there's the side control position, which is, I like to refer to, only for terminology, the legs are nice and tight against my opponent as such. So my knees are bent, my legs are like this, and there's also something where I call the 100 kilos. And this is what it is, simply spreading one leg out as such. Sometimes I'll have a flat foot, and other times I'll post my toes as such to be able to drive some weight forward, all right? It'll depend on where I want to go, but the idea is when I spread one leg out, I have to ensure that both legs are not spread out like this. Now there's zero tension and I'm in a very awkward position. The idea of adding the pressure is to also control the opponent and maintain my position. So how do I maintain a position is also preventing him from recovering the guard on this side. And that starts with, he's gonna start to wedge this leg, the bottom leg in front of my waist. So I'm gonna make sure that I can keep this leg steady and tight against his waistline. So if I turn around like this is what it's gonna look like. As I spread out the 100 kilos, there's gonna be this leg still maintaining contact onto his hip on this side, all right? Now, from here, I have a really good snug position to ensure that he maintains, or I should say I maintain that position and he can't move. Now, the transition we're going to talk about, the first one is switching my position into the north-south. So what we're going to look at now is from the side controller, 100 kilos, is I'm going to reverse the grip. So this one here is going to come on top and cup like this. Now this hand is going to find its way through where my knee was. To control his hip, to maintain him exactly where he is, now I'm going to bring my knees off the mat, pendulum slowly, and keep the control in this position for the north-south. All right, so take a look one more time. I'm just gonna go through the motion so you guys can see exactly what's happening. So one leg is spread out like this. Now I'm having a tight control here. Bring this arm across and the other arm at his hip. I don't want him moving with me. Now bring my knees off the mat and now watch. Pendulum 1, pendulum 2, and now from here, maintain a tight waist against the chest, and now he's pinned here. Next up, we're gonna look at switching our position. So from the side control here, what I'm going to do is keep the underhook, but cup his arm. Once I reach here, I'm gonna raise my knee, and now shoot through, and now I have this position where it's the sit-out position, or we like to refer to it as the Keza position. Now notice I kept the underhook in the armpit. This underhook here will serve two things. Number one, maintain a position so he can't turn in or away from me, but also more importantly is if he didn't have this, now he could scoot himself out and attack the back. So by maintaining the underhook position, you're making sure the person can't escape, and now you have a nice control from here. Now the second transition from this position is I'm gonna use the same position, but I'm going to switch to the top side and now do the sit out towards his knees. All right, when you do so, it's important to always keep contact on his tricep, on his elbow as such. The reason being is when you switch here, his initial reaction, especially when he can't see what's going on, is to use this and push you away. And now I have to fight this, all right? You'll have your post behind you, but if you can prevent this altogether, you'll have an easier time to stabilize this position. Now, sometimes from here, I'll grab the belt, and now I'll use this arm and raise his leg off the mat. and just apply my elbow onto my lap as such. Now he only has one leg to fight off and bridge, and it's going to be harder for him to create space or even bridge me off. Now, from the side control, once we've switched our position to here, what we're going to do is we want to get the mount position. So instead of going back to my knees from the kesa and then transitioning into the mount, I have a nice trick I like to switch from here. I'm going to use the top hand, which is the one controlling his tricep, and I'm going to swim it underneath here as such. When I do so, I'm going to bring the arm over my lap, but also lean into it, because I know my opponent's going to be resisting. So if I start to lean into it, now he's fighting my body weight, which is much harder to do for him than if it was just arm strength. All right, so as I swim the arm under his elbow, now the opposite arm is going to find its way through as well. So I'm going to swim upwards and shift my knees back to the mat. And now my hands are going to do one of two things: S grip behind his neck or palm to palm. Once you are in this position here, you can clear the pressure by bringing your head above his and now switching your position into the mount, super tight, and now releasing pressure to get your 4 points into the mount. So once again, switch to here. Now you've decided, let's get the mount position. All right, so swim this to yourself like this and bring it underneath his elbow. Place your palms to the ground, walk them up as you bring your knees to the mat. Here, finger grip, which is called the S grip. And now we raise this away. As I raise, I bring my head above his. So a lot of pressure is going to be done into the transition for you to bring your knee and then swap over so you can get your mount position. This is a tight transition. It's super simple, but it entails a lot of positioning and distribution of your own body weight to make sure the opponent can't bridge you over and counter your weight and even roll you over on top of them during your transition. All right, guys, so there you have it. Just a few quick transitions for you guys. You can practice from the side control for your jiu-jitsu techniques. Guys, hope you enjoyed this content. Leave us a thumbs up as well. If you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe, because we're going to be doing more jiu-jitsu videos for you guys to watch. We'll catch you
in the next video.
Take care.